Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I will present a paper entitled Corporate Zakat Method Gap Analysis. I am Dodik Svantoro from Universitas Indonesia in Depok, West Java. Outline, there are six step. Introduction, concept of corporate zakat method Saudi Arabia, corporate zakat method in Indonesia, and proposed method that actually this was from our research. We have a grant for 3 years from the Ministry of Education, Republic of Indonesia, last year for 3 years, and six is the gap. Introduction. Corporate zakat is only known in countries that require companies to pay zakat, such as Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, where many companies already pay zakat. So in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, all companies owned by the Muslim and local people are paid zakat. Saudi Arabia and Kuwait treat corporate zakat as substitute for a tax, so they don't have to pay a tax. They just pay zakat. Implementation in Malaysia will also be comparative study. Company zakat deduction from taxable income, but in Malaysia, the company zakat deduction from taxable income. This one, the estimation, the total corporate zakat funds in the world are $3 billion, equivalent to 45 trillion. Yeah, for 1 year in 2021. So if all company in the world from the Muslim countries pay zakat, the total for 1 year is almost 45.3 trillion. It's very big money. The concept and law of corporate zakat actually is based on the concept of corporate zakat, can also refer to agricultural zakat, which is charged directly at the time of harvest with a minimum hisab limit for mandatory zakat. So it's referred to the agricultural zakat. So when they harvest, they have to pay zakat. If it's rain, can be 10%, but if it's managed by the irrigation, it's only 5%. Indonesia corporate zakat can be based on Act number 23, 2011, and Ministry of Religious Affairs number 52, 2014. Corporate zakat method in Saudi Arabia, it refers to the Jaja, Zakat Tax and Custom Authority. This the resource how to calculate the zakat in Saudi Arabia. The subject of the who pay zakat in Saudi Arabia is companies located in Saudi Arabia owned by Saudi citizen or citizen or both corporation countries, member countries, as well as permanent business establishment owned by Saudi citizens who do not reside in Saudi Arabia, if they meet the requirements as place of business. When a company is owned by both Saudi and non-Saudi stakeholder, the portion of taxable income attributable to the non-Saudi stakeholder is subject to income tax, and the Saudi stakeholder is the basis for zakat. And then the calculation, the method is referred to the direct method, and indirect method it is similar with the IAFE, the Bahrain method. It's totally the same. And the third method is estimated calculation method if there is no basis for the zakat calculation. This one, the corporate zakat method in Saudi Arabia. For example, there is net income and upward income total from to 200, and equity at the beginning of year, and dividend and total 650, So the zakat base is 200 from this, multiplied by 2.5% is 5, and the indirect method from this one, we got it 450. Yeah, the total, this one 400, deduct building others, and the total is 450 multiplied by 2.578% is, because is, from not lunar basis, so the rate is different. Yeah, so the zakat paid is 17. Yeah. Corporate zakat method Indonesia, Minister of Religion Regulation number 52 2014, the zakat nisab for business and industries engaged in the production of goods in confirmed to be equivalent to 85 grams of gold, while the zakat nisab for business engaged in service is worth 653 kilograms of grain with zakat rate 2.5%. Meanwhile, company zakat for commerce and industry is calculated from current asset minus current liability. It's very simple. Basnas company zakat is calculated from the net zakat asset, namely current asset minus current liability, and zakat asset are assessed using market value. This one our proposed methods as, for example, if for the agricultural mining, so the basis agricultural mining and livestock is using cash equivalent value. So it's based on the revenue basis. So like before, for example, the net income and income is 100 multiplied 2.5% is 2.5%. The indirect method is, as we can see here, is 500 multiplied by 2.578% is 12.8, and the revenue. So for the agricultural, mining, livestock is based on the revenue basis is 400 times 5%. Why 5%? Because is, for agricultural they have a different rate. So the total is 35%. So it is different from what Saudi Arabia method. The only 17, but here as our research propose, the total zakat paid is 35%. And the gap between current and proposed, we use the Basnas, IAFE, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, and our method, the proposed model. We can see here for the mining, the biggest is our model, the proposed almost 1,784%, and the poultry or the livestock like goat, camel, buffalo, same, if it's different method. The rate is 1,130, the biggest also. Agriculture, our method is the biggest. Manufacture, also the biggest, our method. But for the finance, the biggest is the Malaysia method. Proposed calculation is higher due to final calculation of revenue basis. This is we have published our research on a book. We call it Zakat Perusahaan, the corporate zakat. You can available at the Tokopedia or can get free. Yeah, if you come to my house, I will give you a free. Yeah, I think that's all about my paper. Yes, Sister Amira, I
Yes,
finished.
sir. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, sir. Sir Dodi, thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, for our speaker, if you have uh, question, maybe you can ask by raise your hand, or you can leave your question in our chat book. Okay. For the I will take picture for second session. I hope you can turn on your camera. Mr. Hakan Aslan, can you turn on your camera, Mister? I want to take a picture uh, for the session. Okay, everyone, please open your camera. Okay, give me your best smile. Okay, look at the camera. One, two, three, smile. Okay, one, two, three, smile. Okay, wait a minute. One, two, three, smile. One, two, three, smile. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for our participant. If you have a question, you can ask uh, with the question in our chat box, or you can raise your hand. Meanwhile, we gonna wait the third speaker, Dr. Irum Sabah. She not okay, I think. Hello, Dr. Irum Sabah, are you there? Okay, okay, everyone. We go to our third speaker, Dr. Irum Sabah. Hello, doctor.
Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, very good.
You look so great. You look so good today. Okay. Uh, time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, so can I start now?
Okay, doctor, you can start now.
Okay. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank the university for inviting me today to share about my thoughts on a very important theme, that is the role of Islamic state finance in responding to global strategic issues for maintaining stability and strengthening the economic recovery of developing countries. Uh, the theme of this particular conference is very important. And when we talk about the role of the government institutions, especially when you talk about the regulatory authorities. So, in today's keynote address, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the importance of collaboration when you talk about the implementation of Islamic finance in a developing country, the role Islamic finance can play in a developing country. For this, we need to understand the collaboration between the different institutions in that country. So, this is the main topic of my talk today, my keynote address, that is the collaboration with the different institutions. Now, when you look at the Islamic economic system or Islamic finance system, you need to understand that there are different stakeholders. And primarily, the stakeholders are the government itself, and then we have regulatory authorities in different domains, and then we have the institutions. Institutions, say, for example, Islamic banking institution, Islamic microfinance institution, and Waqf, and so on and so forth. And last but not least, we have the customers, we have the society. So when you talk about having a good Islamic financial system, Islamic economic system, you need to understand that the government, regulatory bodies, institutions themselves, and the society at large, including customers, have to play their due role. We will go one by one in terms of the role that these stakeholders are supposed to perform. In the developing countries, what I have seen is that through my research, that the support from the government is a very, very important factor, important element. And when you talk about the support from the government, it means that that the government at the top level understand why it is very important for us to have Islamic economic system. Because if government is not willing to help Islamic economic system, then you can't go anywhere. Then you can't see the prosperity coming through Islamic economic system because the government is not willing to help different stakeholders. So when you talk about the government have to play their due role by helping the regulatory authorities, by helping the institutions themselves, by creating awareness, by having the introductory academic courses for the different schools, colleges, institutions. So government have to play a huge role. They have to create awareness. They have to make policies, especially the fiscal policies, as such that they are helpful for Islamic economic system in the country. But what we see is that unfortunately, the commitment from some of the governments of the developing countries is not there. And the reason to that is the governments are stuck with the bigger challenges, and that is poverty, that is the health crisis, that is the loan that they have taken from IMF. So they are, and the lack of tax system, they don't have the proper taxation system, they don't have the proper research centers that can provide the guidance or think tanks to the government. So the overall understanding of the government official for this particular Islamic economic system is also very weak. So these are the number of issues when you talk about the government, which is one of the most important stakeholder, if you talk about implementation of Islamic economic system in the country. And when you compare developing countries with the other developed countries, then you see that people are so tied up at the government level in different issues that they lack or they can't see the value proposition of Islamic economic system. So the first thing is government have to play their due role. Now I will move towards the second important stakeholder in order to have implementation of Islamic economic system in a country, and that is none other than regulatory authorities. In most of the countries, Islamic economic system is regulated by different regulatory authorities. We have central banks, we have Securities Commission, we have Ministry of Finance, we have Ministry of Awqaf and Zakat, and we have other related authorities as well. So in terms of regulations of Islamic economic system, once again, the awareness at the regulatory authority level is very important for the Islamic economic system. And also, they are to be pro Islamic economic system. So what we see right now is that through research, not everyone having a position of power in the regulatory setup uh, supporting Islamic economic system. So we need to have that support from the regulatory authority. And another important issue that we have seen is the collaboration among the regulators. So the central bank, Securities Commission, Ministry of Finance, and all the related regulatory authorities, say for example, Ministry of Awqaf and Zakat, and they all have to come together. Even to some extent, I forgot to share about the government, that the political parties in the government have to understand the system and need to have a strong uh, feeling to implement that. And coming to the second stakeholder, that is the regulatory authorities, they also lack collaboration among themselves. So the regulatory authorities have to work together, have to work with each other in order to have a proper implementation when you talk about the Islamic economic system. Why? Because only the regulatory authorities can provide a level playing field. And in some cases, in some countries, the role of the tax department, the institution who is collecting taxes, have to work together with the regulatory authorities hand in hand. Now, so far, we have spoken about two main stakeholders, and that is the central governments in different countries, and the second one is the regulatory authorities in different countries. Third, and the one of the very critical stakeholder is the institutions themselves. So when you see why Islamic economic system is unable to give the fruits to the society, or not able to provide the value proposition to the society is because the institutions have to work very hard in terms of awareness, in terms of providing innovative product, in terms of taking care of the data, in terms of using different technology based system to penetrate in the masses. And again, there is a domain for Islamic banks, Islamic insurance companies, Islamic social finance, Islamic monetary policy, Islamic capital market. All these sectors have to evolve together. So you can't expect from one institution to change the whole scenario. You need to engage all the different stakeholders in such a way that they can be a very productive stakeholder and member, and can help to uh, elevate the poverty, can help to bring the prosperity in the society. So when you talk about the institutions, what I feel is that firstly, institutions are not providing the innovative products to the society. Secondly, the institutions are not working with each other in order to better create awareness in the society at large. And this is how they have to come forward, because they can't replicate the conventional products all the time, and they can't focus only on the banking sector. You need to go to the real estate investment trust, Islamic REITs. You have to go to different domains so that you can impact the society in a better manner. Last but not least, society. What is the role of society when you talk about the implementation of Islamic finance or Islamic economics in the country? What we see is that customers or the society, people in the countries, they always say that Islamic economic system is just like the conventional system. They don't see the value proposition, what Islamic economic system is bringing, how the justice, prosperity, you know, empathy, and helping the poor is inbuilt in the Islamic economic system. So, society at large, they don't understand what Islamic economic system is. This is why they criticize without getting the proper understanding of the system. Number two, when you talk about their awareness that is low, they criticize more, and then they stay away rather than to support the system. They create a distance from the system, and they have this fear that is basically that the Islamic economic system will not add the value. So here, if you see all the four stakeholders, they are connected. They are connected in a way that every institution have to support the other stakeholder. The other stakeholders, say for example, the government, the regulatory authorities, the financial institutions that we are talking about, they all have to come together and then work for the society in order to create awareness, in order to give them the uh, innovative products that solve their problem. If we see that one of the important challenge we are facing is in developing countries is of climate change, be it Indonesia, be it Pakistan, be it Bangladesh, and you see all these developing countries, we are facing a problem of climate change. Now, here comes the role of the government, of the regulatory authorities, and the institutions to provide such products that our customer can take benefit from them. Unfortunately, we are not doing it. So, what is happening is that the people are becoming uncomfortable, and they are not able to see how they can get the benefit from Islamic economic system. And remember one point, people confuse Islamic economic system with Islamic banking system. Islamic economic system is a whole holistic sphere, and Islamic banking is just part of that. Islamic insurance is part of that. Islamic mutual fund is part of that. Islamic capital market, Islamic money market. All these are just different parts of the whole sphere of Islamic economic system. And we tend to miss Islamic monetary policy, Islamic fiscal policy. Why can't we do the budget financing taking care of the Islamic economic system? This is why when you look at the angle of economists are confused because they see that how we can remove interest and then how we can move forward. So this is why I think the role of different stakeholder is very crucial in terms of providing not only awareness but also the innovative products to the customer. So there are certain policy recommendation for all these four stakeholders. The government have to come out of their comfort zone and tell people, launch the policies, use the different avenues of economic system, better utilization of zakat, better utilization of waqf, better implementation of Islamic monetary policy. So why the governments are not doing so? If the governments are not willing to invest and take care of people from the Islamic tools, then this will create more harm in the society. So governments have to use Islamic tools in order to take care of the society. Now, so government have to put it in their agenda and use these tools. Secondly, the regulatory authorities, they have to come up with a level playing field for Islamic and conventional. They need to give Islamic more uh, support because Islamic is new. Conventional is there for the last 400 to 500 years. But right now, what is happening is that the environment is more conducive for the conventional as compared to Islamic. So this is why I repeat that Islamic need to be given at least the support that is given to conventional. So stakeholders, the regulatory authorities have to support Islamic financial institution and they need to Islamize the whole economy, not the banking only. The whole economy need to be Islamized, as in the case of Pakistan. So by 2027 December, we are supposed to Islamize the whole economic system of Pakistan. For this, we are working together with different regulatory authorities. Third stakeholder, what they are supposed to do is basically they need to bring innovative products that they haven't brought so far. So far, Islamic financial institution or different other relevant institutions are not working in order to create innovative products. Even if you talk about the Waqf institution, they are not taken care by the government and also the Waqf regulating authorities and even the Waqf institution itself. So we need to improve all the different parts of the puzzle when you talk about Islamic economic system. So the stakeholder, the banking institution, the other institutions, stock exchanges, capital market, they all have to come forward. Or Islamic social finance institution, they all have to come forward and show how they are taking care of the Islamic values, Sharia compliance, and using technology or artificial intelligence for the benefit of their customer. Fourth, the society, this is our duty to practice Islamic uh, values because in the Muslim majority country, if you're talking about the developing countries, the Muslim majority, say for example, Indonesia is the biggest Muslim country in the world. So having the huge population, the society, the customers have to come forward. They need to understand that how important it is for us to obey the injections of Quran and the sayings and doings of Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. And the customers need to demand from the government that we need an Islamic economic system in the country, and we want to see the prosperity of the our fellow men. So these are some of my suggestions, recommendation to all the four stakeholders. And apart from these main four stakeholders, there are some other parties as well. Say, for example, the if you talk about the education sector of the country, how they can contribute, and if you talk about the overall research centers in the country, how they can talk about the Islamic economic system and can bring forward different ideas in order to create not only the Sharia compliance, but the innovative Sharia compliance solution for the problems faced by the people of the country. So with this, thank you so much. I am delighted to be here among my colleagues in Indonesia from Pakistan. And thank you so much for the invitation. Highly appreciated.
Okay, thank you so much, Ilum Sauba. You can uh, you can be participate in our conference. Okay, everyone. If you want to ask question to the speaker, you can ask directly with the raise your hand by raise your hand and leave the question in our chat platform. Okay, everyone, you have a question? Okay. Dr. Iram Sabah, what time in the Pakistan now?
It's 12:30. It's afternoon time right now.
Okay, I see. So it's not a money different in Pakistan time with Indonesian time.
Yes, yes, it's only 2 hours.
Oh, it does. Okay. Okay, everyone. Do you have a question to our speaker? You can raise your hand or you can leave your question in our chat platform.
What is the time right now? It's 2:30, isn't it?
Yes, 2:30. The 2:30 in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you the two speaker for this session is cannot make it presentation because Prof. Sharif she's in airplane now. Go to from Bahrain go to Saudi Arabia. And Mr. Afan Isan from the field trip too. So we just in the second session we just have three speaker. We have Dr. Hakan Aslan, Dr. Dodi, and Dr. Ilham Sabas. So this is a question and answer session. Okay, I will announce about if you want to ask a question to our three speaker, you can ask by raise your hand or you can leave the question in our chat platform.
And if you don't have a question, it means that you understand that correctly. And I'm very glad to know that you understood it correctly.
Or I think they have a question but cannot speak in English, so with
I
fluency, I
understand.
think like
Uh,
that.
no problem, Sister Almira. I really appreciate the efforts of your institution, what you are doing, mashallah, and the way your students are trying to learn. And it's beautiful. It's amazing to see. I can see Prof. Dodik is here. Salam, Prof. I can see my very dear brother, Prof.
Yep.
Hakan is here.
Dr. Iram Sabah.
Yes.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam, walaikum assalam. So the efforts you are doing, I really appreciate that. Mashallah. It's great.
Okay, but ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have question, maybe we can end it our event for tomorrow. Okay, so this is the last session for today, and we have another event for tomorrow. This is still some activity in the international conference. I just a reminder for our presenter. Tomorrow we have a talk show. Okay, for the presenter, you must join at 8 a.m. In our Zoom. Don't forget to change your name with the your name first underscore and IAFE no 01 uh, and then don't forget if you cannot make it presenter tomorrow you can upload your video for your presentation in our Google Drive. Okay, everyone, I will gonna end this session for today. I want to say thank you for all keynote speaker who can join and give them the special time and the special knowledge for us. And I want to say thank you for the all participants who want to give your time for joining in our international conference. Don't forget, tomorrow we have a talk show and uh, for our presenter to present their uh, I'm sorry, to present their paper. Okay. I want to say apologize if during international conference I do a mistake, and I'm sorry if you if you feel it cannot I cannot make it the perfect international conference for you. I want to say sorry once more again. Okay. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you tomorrow.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bagi para
Thank you.
presenter, untuk besok jangan lupa gabung jam 8 pagi di Zoom. Namanya